So Arteta has said this about Henry.
Toughest opponent? Which player? An individual?
Probably I would have to pick Thierry Henry. When I played against him, and
everyone picks Thierry Henry.
I was at Everton, and it's one of those players where you felt that he was so superior to the rest that he could completely dominate the game.
And there's actually really good evidence for why he said this. Let's just watch Henry's cameo against Everton in 2005. Because he showed some absolute magic that game. His all-round performances and some of the pieces of skill were unreal. Before we get into it, a little context. Henry was coming back from injury, so he only played the second half.
And the headline is, he's back. Only on the subs bench to begin with, but I'm assured that Thierry Henry will be used at some stage of the game. Well, the great man's timing has always been impeccable, hasn't it? Just 10 days away from the FA Cup final, Thierry Henry makes an unexpected return to give everyone at Arsenal a huge boost. And in case you'd forgotten, he is still the Premiership's leading goal scorer.
Also, note how the commentators used to speak about Henry with such a reverence. Now, Arsenal won this game 7-0, which was mad in itself considering Everton finished 4th that season. They finished above Liverpool, who won the Champions League. What's even crazier is, out of those 7 goals, Henry did not score or assist a single one. And that's what I want to show, because the way Arteta said Henry could dominate the game, that's not typically what you'd hear about a striker, right? Usually they live off of moments. They might dominate a centre-back, but they don't usually dominate games. But that was the uniqueness of Henry. He wasn't a great striker, he was a great player. I think this game is a good example. So initially, Henry just makes a few basic penetrating runs. Off the ball, just using his pace to run in behind. Should have had a penalty here.
A long look at the challenge by Yobo on Henry.
Does he clip Henry? What's the skill? What's Yobo's trailing leg? Does he catch him? I think he does.
Been on the field precisely 3 minutes and might well have earned Arsenal a penalty. And now he's offside.
Well, that was tight as well. Very, very tight.
Lovely ball. Thierry Henry.
Now, Henry has said this in interviews, that at the start of a game, he likes to run in behind a few times, just to push the defenders back a bit, make them afraid of being on the front foot. That'll open up space in the middle, and then he can drop deep and play with the ball more comfortably.
Also, at the beginning of the game, I was always going to give you that 5 runs for no reason in behind to let you know, oh, I'm faster than you, so stay there. So I can get my ball and maybe do that.
Nothing too special so far. He got involved in the 4th goal here. A little bit lucky, took a massive deflection to Perez, but then now, Henry just starts toying with them.
For the Gunners. Henry. Henry's there again. Lovely little ball. It's a chilly evening here in North London, but Arsenal are warming us all up with the quality of their football. I don't suppose watching Evertonians would agree. Was that a handball? It was.
Was it the arm? Was it the chest? It's definitely the arm.
I'll be real, I don't know if this should have been a penalty. Edu ended up taking it. Some people don't realize that Henry didn't take a ton of penalties. He often gave them away. Also note here just how he bundled over Arteta. Kind of off screen, you only get a glimpse of it. But that's something underrated about Henry as well, is just how physically big he was.
There goes Thierry Henry, weaving his magical little patterns. Reyes. There's Henry again. Henry. Here's Edu. Reyes. Henry. Reyes takes over again.
You guys see he's basically playing as a central midfielder right now. Look at how deep he's picking it up. He's keeping possession, shifting the opposition around, progressing the ball.
Unbelievable. Thierry Henry. That was worth the admission money alone. Reyes! Did I really see what I think I've just seen?
You did. And it was fantastic. What's this from Henry? Not so much that one. What's this one? See ya. Brilliant.
I've asked this question before, but how many players in history are absolutely elite, one of the best ever goal scorers, chance creators, but also this good at general build-up, ball progression, playmaking? In my lifetime, it's less than a handful, and Henry's one of them.
He's an honest man. I'm sure he'll just hold his hands up at the end of this and say, what can you do when they're in this mood? What can you do when Thierry Henry's playing like that?
By the way, there isn't a good replay of that piece of skill. It's only there in this crappy quality, but it was outrageous. What is that? This Everton was a good team under David Moyes. This isn't Scunthorpe, and he's just aura farming.
Henry. A little party piece from the master. There you go. It was a great ball in. And it's turned home by
Absolutely brilliant. A little bit of juggling. What shall I do with it now? Shall I sling it in the box? No, I think I'll just check back. Send the dummy. Great cross. This Reyes does brilliant, doesn't he? Lovely ball from Henry. Great vision from Reyes.
Just a quick note, some of this may look like really crappy defending. Like here he just sells two players with what looks like a simple dummy. But the problem with Henry was he could explode at any moment with such pace and control on either side that squared up like that, defenders tended to back off and like give him like a yard. But then you can't let that cross go in for free either. So there's some moments where if he's on form, he can just do whatever he wants. You're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. You just have to hope he messes up or is having a bad game or doesn't get service. And he could do it to anyone. He could make the best defenders ever look really bad.
Henry again. Took him on single-handedly now. Good ball as well. Of course, a week later, the FA Cup final at the Millennium Stadium against Manchester United.
I think Steve Bruce might play 9 at the back on Sunday. Watching this,
Or at least.
dear oh dear. What do you do?
I like this moment towards the end of the game. Again, look at where he picks it up. And he's just blowing by people effortlessly. It almost feels to me like he was limit testing his body right here. Like just trying to slowly go through the gears after his injury. Because this is not even an all-out sprint from him. Now, why am I glazing this game? Like, it was 7-0. He didn't contribute directly to any of it. It was 3-0 when he stepped on the pitch already. Like, this is not the best game he's ever played, or certainly not the most important. Primarily, I'm showing this off because it makes a good video because Arteta's involved. But also, keep in mind, he did all this in 45 minutes when not even fully fit yet. It shows so many facets of what I like about Henry in his prime. Legit, just process that he's literally popping up everywhere. Coming deep on the wings, running behind, dribbling. But also that extra special thing the kids call pausa, where you can kind of stop the game and almost run an attack. Like during his peak in this time, he did this in so many games where he would just run the opposition defense ragged virtually by himself. Like the sheer influence, even just off the ball alone, makes him a huge threat. But then you add everything else and it's actually crazy. It's a little bit like Messi in that his stats and even his highlights and compilations don't do justice to the player he was. Because game after game, he would just do little things that maybe don't belong in a compilation, but they're still so valuable. And for me, this kind of player are the very best. The ones who can be killers in the final third, but if need be, they can take it all on themselves. Score solo goals or take on a creative and playmaking burden. They can help progress the ball. Like nowadays, a lot of people just look at GA numbers. And football is such a complex sport that you can't boil it down to these two numbers, especially when judging players from different teams in all sorts of different scenarios. He's not as good as Messi, but he's in that similar mold of like, I can almost be everything to a team if I need to be.
Much more to his game, isn't it? I mean, I love this. I love him having the ball. I mean, for me, he could run on snow and not even dent it. He's that light. Look at him. Footwork's tremendous. And there he's looking, he's always aware, he's dominating, brings people into play. I think he could play in any position on the football field, this fella. Look at him there. This is what he does well for a top striker. Teases, defenders can't tackle, and he's always looking to set up a mate.
Honestly, I wish we saw him explore this side of his game even more, like for Barca, for France, even Arsenal at times, because I think he could have been a really great playmaker. I've seen a lot of debates recently about who the Premier League GOAT is, with Salah and Cristiano's names being brought up a lot. And I know this is coming from a Stan account or whatever. Like, you could argue that others have had better individual seasons, depending on how you want to measure that. But nobody was as individually dominant as Henry was during his peak. I think he could basically emulate virtually everything that the others could do, but he had like this extra level of unstoppability that I don't think the others did. Like take Salah for instance, right? Great player. I think until about a year or so ago, he has been pretty underrated, but he certainly doesn't have the all-round influence in games that Henry does. And I would argue that the vast majority of his effectiveness comes in very particular scenarios. Typically, when he gets the ball in transition, usually on that right-hand channel, with multiple strong runners around him. Liverpool essentially try to recreate that scenario as many times as possible during a game.
Yeah, again, great. I think it's Connor, isn't it?
Yeah.
This one, yeah. So he creates the 1v1 for him. So if Connor stays backwards, then he doesn't have the 1v1. And now again, he takes this player out because he makes the inside run, I assume.
Again, 10 yards around that area.
And because of this run from Connor, he creates this 10 yards. Because if Connor doesn't make the run, he can be already closer on him. Now he can
2v1.
Yeah. And now he can receive the ball. So if he receives the same ball from here, maybe this fullback can be tighter on him.
Yeah.
But if we play the ball first through the middle, that's why we need the players like Bacca and Ryan, because we want to play through the middle. And if you now find him here, he has an open touch.
Again, don't get me wrong, Salah executes that incredibly well, but I also think he's easier to lock up than Henry as an individual. I think that's even true of Cristiano to some extent as well. Definitely less so than Salah. I mean, Ronaldo was better than Salah in central spaces, he scored multiple free kicks, and he was great in the air, of course, but he was never a great playmaker. 1v1 dribbling, he wasn't as good as Henry. Henry just offered more outside of goals, and again, I think Henry was more unstoppable, certainly than Man United Ronaldo. You know, it's funny, I think Henry owes a lot to Arsenal and Wenger for helping him blossom into this demon, but I also think they kind of failed him by not surrounding him with even more talent during his very best years. Anyway, maybe I'll get into all that in another video when I talk about his Ballon d'Or claims. Alright, anyway, that's it. Check out my other videos, like and subscribe. See ya.